CES wrap-up, we learned what's driving the future of Goodyear, and we've got a big announcement for entrepreneurs everywhere.
Plus, I get up close and personal with a really big cat.
It's gonna literally change the game. All that and more.
This is the CES wrap-up.
Wrap-up.
Welcome back to the Grand Lobby and day 3 of CES 2024. I'm Brian Tong.
And I'm Justine Zarek, and today they finally let me loose on the show
They let her
floor.
loose, y'all.
They did. I got to check out all of the gaming areas here at the show. Plus, I catch up with Goodyear, and in fact, they gave us these really sweet aerial shots because they've been flying around Las Vegas all week.
I heard, did you like kind of make a deal like they're gonna take you up next year?
Possibly. We'll see what
Possibly.
happens. Maybe
Okay.
I'll get you an invite.
Maybe?
We'll see. Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna pinky swear on that. Maybe. That's a pinky swear, maybe.
Pinky
All right.
swear.
We've already seen so much throughout our time at the show this year, and I gotta know, maybe what are some of the highlights for you?
So, just recently, I got to check out the drone soccer
Oh,
league.
I heard about that.
It was so much fun. I got to play and try it out. So now I have a future of becoming a drone pilot soccer player.
A new career path?
Possibly. We'll see.
Alternative career path?
New
Okay.
hobby.
Okay. For me, it was definitely, I'd heard about it and I've never seen it, but experiencing the Pebble Flow, they call it like the iPhone of RVs. That was incredible. It's just reimagining like a futuristic RV, and it's a real thing. It's happening.
Did they show you how you can dock it with
Yes,
their app?
yes. Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah, okay.
Huge fan.
It's
Anyway,
freaking
we
out.
have so much in store today, but we're starting things off with a really big segment.
That's right. I got a chance to jump into a massive mining loader that, believe it or not, is battery powered. So take a look. What's up, everybody? I'm here at Caterpillar's booth, and if you look behind me, they're not paying attention to us, John. I'm so sorry. They're probably looking at what's behind us.
That's true.
This is a mining truck, a battery powered mining truck. Is that correct?
It's our underground mining loader.
Underground. So that's why I get it. You guys are trying to tell us this. There's that cave pattern in the background.
That's right.
This is John Thomas, product specialist over here at Caterpillar, and I'd love to just see, we're here to talk about technology. The truck gets the loader gets our attention. Everyone walking by, they're like, so I'd love to kind of get a little closer and check out and see what's up.
Yeah, everybody loves yellow iron. Let's take a look.
Everybody loves yellow iron. Is that a t-shirt?
No, it should be. It should be.
Okay, and I feel this thing. Look, the door is open. I've got to go inside, right?
Absolutely.
One seat?
One seat.
Okay,
one seat only on this machine.
Okay,
3 points of contact. Be careful there.
1, 2, 3. This is the 3 points
You're
of
good.
contact.
You're good.
Okay. So can you tell people at home what we're looking at here?
Yeah, so this is our R1700 XE underground mining loader, and this was Caterpillar's first ever completely battery electric machine. This machine has a 213 kilowatt hour battery pack on it, and we can DC charge it very quickly. We're going to talk about that in a second. But these guys work in underground mines where ventilation and temperature can be a concern, where they want to make sure that the operators do not get fatigued, and it works kind of going into piles of material that have been broken out of the mine wall, and they load that material in the bucket on the front of this, and they kind of take it to a place to be dropped off to be processed. So it's back and forth load and carry operation, and we're getting a lot of positive feedback. We've got these machines out in the field in underground mines in Canada primarily right now.
I've got to imagine, right, being underground, battery powered, emissions is a big thing, right? Even just inhaling what we know, the dust and this, all that stuff that happens, but the fumes, that's completely eliminated.
Yeah,
right?
it is completely eliminated. You're right, and there is certainly some benefits that our customers see from reducing, the need to ventilate that space, but there's still a ventilation need. The biggest thing that we didn't expect was on our diesel machines, you have what we call heat rejection, so a lot of heat comes off of that machine. Well, these machines don't have that heat rejection. So in a lot of cases in an underground mine, if people need to come in behind in an area where a machine's been operating, they may have to wait 45 or 60 minutes for that heat to dissipate. But with this machine, they can come in immediately, which means the mine's getting more work done, no downtime, keeping their productivity up, and making that, allowing that customer to make more money.
Wow. I just want to let you know I was listening to every word, but come on, Mama. I'm in a loader. I was almost going to say truck, but it's not. It's a loader. Just want to let you all at home know. This is amazing. Now, can you just tell me even what they're looking at here? Is this what actually typically shows up on this screen for them?
So it's you're going to have some controls. It might be a map of the mine. So you might have kind of a location service that'll actually show you where in the mine you are. It might be showing you where is the area of work that you should be in. There's certainly going to be, there's a screen back in there for backup camera. You can imagine visibility to the back end of this machine, not really great, so we could depend on backup cameras. And then certainly joystick controls, and you can bounce up and down and enjoy that. A very cushy seat, right? We've got some solid rubber tires here, and so we want to keep those operators comfortable. And so we focus on that. And like the electric, unlike our diesels, it's actually a much smoother ride. So we have our operators coming off of their shifts saying that they're less fatigued, which is really good for our customers from a safety perspective.
So I'm going to come on down here, right? Like you said, 3 points of contact for you at home who are going on a loader. Safety first.
Okay. That's right.
Right? Anyone that has access to a loader at home. John, just real quick, like we stand with this massive loader behind us. Oh, how long, how tall are we talking about?
I don't know. I haven't measured it yet.
Really long. Like if I did this, it's like 20 of these Brian Tong arm longs. That's an official measurement. Okay, so you talk about this being battery charged, right? Powered with electricity. So what is this bad boy here?
So yeah, this is the thing that I'm really proud of because I'm from the charger space at Caterpillar. So this is what we call our MEC 500, and MEC stands for Mobile Equipment Charger, and 500 is a 500 kW output. So
Okay.
for anybody that's familiar with the EV market, it's primarily kind of 150 kW or 350 kW.
Yep.
This is 500 kW. So it's not a generator, it's just a DC charger. And we actually have a CAT proprietary connector for this machine.
Oh.
And this is not liquid cooled. We can shove 700 amps through this one
Oh my
connector.
gosh.
So here's the really exciting thing. We can actually connect 2 of these chargers to the back end of this machine and charge it from 10% to 100% in 18 minutes
Damn,
flat.
18.
Yes.
Okay, hold on. Can I see that?
Absolutely.
I want to feel this thing. Okay, look. Like, oh, it's got. Look, I work out, and this thing's heavy. Can you modify my car to get this connection on?
We'll work with
Or
you.
work on it,
Yeah,
or even better, maybe you could drop one of these off at my home. That would be
Do you have a
fine.
600 amp service at home?
No, I do not. I do not. That
Then it might be
unfortunately I don't.
problematic.
Wow, that is amazing. Now, when you look at this technology, and is this the first vehicle to be, I guess, compatible with this station per se? I don't know.
It is. So we actually purpose-built this charger. We purposefully designed and built this charger specifically for this machine. But we are in the process here in 2024, before the end of the year, we're going to release this with more of an industry standard connector that you may be familiar with, like the CCS 1 and 2 connector that would be in your passenger EVs, that'll be on a lot of on-highway vehicles. So we're releasing that to kind of try to support the on-highway market, as well as some of the other machines that we're developing and we'll be releasing in the future that will be battery electric.
So we're here at CES, you're talking about future, right?
That's
so
right.
Where are you seeing this applied to the future of what Caterpillar is doing, depending on the size of construction vehicles? How do you see this moving forward?
Yeah, so we've already announced that we have 4 battery electric machines in the construction area that we're working on. So we have here in the booth with us at CES, we have a 301.9 mini excavator, 32 kilowatt hour battery pack on the 301.9. So we also have a 906 compact wheel loader, a 320 medium excavator, and a 950 GC medium wheel loader. So those are the machines we've announced. We've also announced in the mining space that we're working on a big, large mining truck, a 793 mining truck. That's going to be a huge truck.
When you say big, how much bigger compared to this? I don't know.
About 2 times the height of this,
Okay.
and maybe similar in length.
Okay.
So those are the announcements that we've made to date, but the way we choose how we're going to go forward in electrification has to do with a lot of data. We have 1.4 million connected assets across the globe. We have telematics on almost all of our machines, and we pull data, so we take a chance to look at that data of the diesel machines, and we say, which machine makes sense to actually go electric next.
All right, well, this is amazing. This was fun. I feel like I need to spend a little more time over here on the loader, but John, thanks for all the information, and best of luck. Have a great show, all right?
Thanks, you too.
Thank you. Hey, check this out.
Most mines today are not of human decision.
What do you think?
All right, that's enough. That's enough. Come on.
What are you doing? Come on. Hey! Hey! Good!
Now, it wouldn't be CES without getting a chance to check out all of the latest advancements in gaming. And as a gamer, this is my favorite part. So let's go see what's new. So I'm here at X-Real, and I'm so excited to check these out. Ralph, what have we got?
So this is the X-Real Air 2 series of glasses. Quick question, Forza or Street Fighter?
Forza.
Then you want to connect to the Xbox, put those on.
All right. Oh, there it is. Okay, so I see the game. I'm playing now. The game is here. It's in my head.
That's right. What you have is a 120-inch full HD 1080p screen because there's 2 micro projectors in those glasses.
This is amazing. So I'm basically seeing the game. I'm playing, like you can see that. Okay, well, I have hit a few things. That's my problem, but the screen looks amazing.
Yep.
The sound is incredible.
Yep.
This is so impressive. I mean, this is gonna literally change the game.
That's the idea. And right, we've been selling our AR glasses for about 2 years. And here's what we found. Our customers are, well, a lot of gamers. And what they like is we can connect to an Xbox, a PlayStation, a Switch, an Asus ROG Ally, a Steam Deck, iOS, Android,
Wow.
Mac, PC. You see where I'm going here?
Yeah, so you basically can connect this to anything.
That's right.
And do I need external power, or it's just this
So
is
the
it?
power comes from the source device,
Oh,
right?
wow.
So you're tethered in and the Xbox is providing the power for this.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, this is so cool. And oh, I've hit a few cars. When did these come out?
So the new ones that you have right there, which have sensors in them, that comes out in March. But we have 2 versions of the product that are in market right now that just came out in October.
Now, what can we do with these sensors?
So these sensors are going to allow for full 3D spatial computing, which is really exciting. So when we think about what Apple Vision Pro and Meta Quest 3 are doing, that's what we're going to be able to do out of these glasses.
And a much, much smaller form
That's
factor.
right. That's right.
This is so great. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
One of the things that I love checking out at the Razer booth is all of their accessories. They have a mouse and a keyboard for basically anything. Are you doing work? Maybe. Are you gaming? Most likely, but they have a keyboard, a mouse, headphones, and accessories to meet any of the gaming needs that you'll have. They're so great. So we're heading into the Chroma room, and this is something that is just every gamer's dream. And I feel like this is a good representation of kind of all the things that Razer has. And with their Chroma apps, you can have them all kind of working together. This is honestly such a dream setup. I mean, we've got clouds, we've got everything in here. Now, as a gamer, having the most perfect gaming chair is crucial. So I'm here with Dr. Matt.
Yep.
What are we doing in here and what's happening?
So what we're doing today is hopefully by the end of this little quick session, you're gonna understand a little bit more about how our seating surface impacts our physical health. And so I wanna help you first kind of take a look at this chair over here. There's a lot of overall adjustability. As you might have already known,
Now, is this a new chair?
This is a new chair.
Okay.
This is called the Isker V2. There's a lot of upgrades compared to the very first version. The number one feature a chair needs to have to promote better health is adjustability, which this chair now has, and it's the most adjustable on the market. And that's because it allows us to match all the different sitting styles and our sizes and our different desk setups, as I was mentioning. And so I do want to hopefully get a little chair fitting protocol done so that you can know exactly how you can set up the Isker V2 at your home setup. So if you don't mind, we're gonna actually have you turn over to this desk setup over here. I'm gonna shift on over.
Here we go.
So we'll see, we're gonna measure from right over here all the way down to the floor. Again, subtracting 1, so about 18 inches subtracting 1, so 17 inches from your heel to the base of the chair. That's how you want to set up any chair.
The chair prescription, it's
Exactly,
happening.
chair fit. And so that allows no pressure at your distal thigh here, or very minimized pressure, and also here at your proximal thigh. Okay, so we want to look for that 90-degree angle, similar to what you actually already did for your armrest, which we'll get to. But the next thing I want to look at is the lumbar spine, or the lumbar support. And so because it's very adaptable, I want to make sure it's set up specific to you. So if you don't mind, again, sitting up away from it, and then sort of arching your back so I can roughly visually identify where your lower lumbar spine is, or the base of your sacrum. And then we're gonna set the lumbar support to that height. So this one adjusts up and down. The one on the right adjusts protrusion out and in. So because you're actually leaning forward, and so let's imagine in a heated, S&D, right? You're over there, and we're gonna bring the backrest to you. So we protrude it out.
Oh, wow,
So you can feel that, right?
Yeah.
You already set up your armrest very perfectly. We just want it to naturally rest right where your shoulders are, and so that alleviates any excessive use of these muscles here or these muscles here. And that's the 4 sort of key points that I wanted to focus on. And you're gonna obviously be able to keep this for yourself. So we have bottom third, the depth, we're sending it out, right, to match, to bring the backrest to you. And the armrest height, we're sending it, I think it's about 2 clicks right there. Here's your little prescription.
Here's my prescription. I'm all ready to game.
Lots of opportunity here on day 3 of CES, including an arena filled with new ideas, all right? It's called Eureka Park, and it's a space dedicated to startups looking for their big break. And today, there's a well-known team just circling the park, looking for their next big idea to sink their teeth into. Hint, hint.
It's that time of year again. If you have a business you want to have on Shark Tank, go to abc.com/Shark Tank and apply, and maybe you will be on the carpet.
That's right, Mark Cuban himself wants entrepreneurs just like you to submit your best ideas. Now, here to tell us more is Shark Tank casting director Mindy Zemrak. Woo, Shark Tank,
Yes.
CES.
We're here.
This is a perfect place to do it.
It is the best place to do it.
And is this your first CES for yourself?
No, I have been coming to CES for over a decade now, and we've actually been working with CES in collaboration with Shark Tank for over a decade as well. So we haven't had an open call since 2020, so it is
Okay.
our first one in 4 years, and we're really excited to be back and see all of our entrepreneurs tomorrow and hope that we get a big turnout.
Now, you talk about this open call, casting call for
Yep.
potential prospective Shark Tank guests. This is not, though, can people do it online, or this is not just in person, right?
Correct, yes. So there's 2 ways to apply, actually 3 ways to apply. And so one of them is people can apply online and they just fill out a very short form. We also go to trade shows, much like CES. So the Shark Tank casting team right now, as we're interviewing, is actually on the floor scouting. And we also hold open calls, so people can come to us and pitch in person. It's all level playing field, but a lot of people obviously like to, pitch us in person, and you get a better read on people's personality and their energy and everything, and we have a lot of fun. So we're really excited and looking forward to tomorrow.
So CES is like the mecca of pitching. Okay, do you turn this is a personal question, do you turn your badge opposite so they can't see the word Shark Tank? Because I'm guessing if you've had it turned outwards and they've seen Shark Tank, someone's gonna be like, I gotta show. Has this happened? Am I leaning into something that's probably happened?
Oh, many, many times.
Yeah.
Normally, we would be wearing our Shark Tank t-shirts and walking around like walking billboards. So not only do people that we talk to along the way in terms of pitching and scouting, people will see me from behind and be like, wait, I don't have a booth, but can I pitch you? And they'll pitch me right there on the floor. So it never ends. We actually want to flash our badges, because the more people we get to talk to, the better. You don't have to have a booth at a trade show. If you're just walking around and you have a product or a company, come talk to us. We encourage everyone to come in, because we're always looking for different walks of life and backgrounds to come in and pitch the Sharks to hopefully make their business blow up and make their dreams come true.
As the casting director, how long have you been involved in casting with the show?
So I have been very fortunate. I have been on the show since season 1.
Wow.
And so we are heading into our 16th season. That's what we're casting for while we're here. And so, yeah, I've seen thousands and thousands of pitches at this point. Many that no one will ever see that because they don't end up on the show, but I've laid in coffins, I've ridden animals, you name it, I've done it. I've eaten a lot of things, so it's fun, and I absolutely love being part of the show and having, a tiny part in seeing someone's business go from when they apply to if they land a deal with a shark and then they end up, making millions or billions in some instances with our entrepreneurs that have been on the show. It's incredible to see that the American dream is alive and well.
I mean, you're honestly a part of that, and even sparking that idea for people that are watching at home. I'm sure people that were at home, that there's so many times I remember before there was an internet or there was a show, you'd sit around with your friends and be like, I should invent that.
Yep.
And it stopped at that conversation. But I think Shark Tank being so visible and seeing what is possible has absolutely made some of those people actually make their dream come true, where it might have been just an idea around a coffee table.
Absolutely, and you actually see it now in schools with really young demos and young generations. I mean, they're teaching Shark Tank classes. I've had 6-year-olds pitch me ideas, and
That's amazing.
I was never like that at that age. But to see these young entrepreneurs having these thoughts, having this mindset of, if anyone can do it, I can do it, and I'm young, but I can still do it. We've had, Baby Tune is a great example. She came in, she did a deal with Lori. She was 9 years old when she created the product. She's gone on, and now she's basically like set for her and her sisters and siblings college funds and everything, just based on what she created at a school project. That's all about what the American dream and Shark Tank is about, is celebrating our entrepreneurs and getting people to that level.
I love that, Mindy. When you talk about these ideas, again, you have seen a lot, but a lot, everybody.
A lot.
A lot. Is there maybe a secret sauce? Like, right, there's always sometimes that you know, okay, this has a good chance, a better chance, or a great chance of being picked up by shark. Is there maybe like, are there any pillars or things that make up what you think is a great idea?
Yeah, so we kind of, it sounds maybe a little repetitive, but when you pitch the Shark Tank casting team, there's kind of 3 or 4 tips we always give, and it's to really truly help us understand within a small amount of time what sets you apart from everyone else. The number one thing is have passion. You've created something, and if you're not passionate about it, how are millions of people, let alone 5 sharks that potentially might invest in you, going to be excited about it? So I tell everyone, have a couple shots of espresso if you need, or whatever your matcha, whatever you want.
Don't give that to me. Don't give that to me, Mindy. I may be bouncing off the walls.
But come in and be really excited about it. We're not looking for people to go on a television show. At the end of the day, we are a television show, but we truly are trying to be like a matchmaker. So have passion and be excited about why you created this. Shark Tank is 50% about your business or product and 50% about your backstory. 99% of the entrepreneurs who have created whatever they have created is because of something in their history and backstory. And that is very important to us and to the sharks to understand why and how they created it. So share that with us. Of course, Mr. Wonderful is going to come after you for numbers, so know your numbers. Know your numbers. If you don't know your numbers exactly when you're pitching the casting team, that's okay. We don't have money to invest in you, and that's okay. But certainly know them as you go through the process and be able to back up why you're valuing your company at whatever value it is, because they'll also get on you about that. And then the last thing is really also important as the other ones, which is tell us what sets you apart. These days, it's very rare to find someone that's super innovative and brand new. But if you've created something off of something else, just made it better, has a new twist, be able to come in and express, hey, I'm different because of X, Y, and Z. And those are the things what help at least get you to the next step in our process, and then hopefully end up in front of the sharks down the road and pitching in front of 5 to 6 million people as well. See,
if anyone's really smart and they're watching this, she just laid out the blueprint of the optimal chance to get through the Shark Tank. So if you're not watching this and you're going to be trying to get on the show, you should be watching this. Now, you're coming here to CES. You mentioned this long-standing partnership and being a part of CES. Eureka Park is really, we see innovation everywhere. Eureka Park is the hotbed of innovation. We've seen companies that started there that have, like to your point, become multi-million, billion-dollar corporations. What is it about being in Eureka Park that excites you, and you're surrounded by a lot of really the true startup mentality? Eureka Park has always been the sweet spot for Shark Tank and the companies that we look for. It truly is, in my opinion, and I think a lot of people attest to this, where innovation is thriving and really kind of bubbling up the surface. So for us, it's finding those companies. A great story was Benji Locke from many, many years ago. He came in to our open casting call. He had a booth at Eureka Park. He came into the casting call. He ended up on the show. He did a deal with Kevin O'Leary. And the following year, after closing that deal with Kevin and working with Hampton Products International, he ended up on the main floor of CES, which was a true full circle moment because we saw Robbie downstairs and then he essentially moved up to this giant booth. And it was just a full circle moment. And he's such a good guy, and he helped his family. And so Eureka Park, we're already scouting. We're already going to be there tomorrow. And then the open call tomorrow will be right next door, so come by. But innovation, in my opinion, of those startups that are really on the brink of something are all there just simmering and waiting to be found. And that's our sweet spot for sure. Now, we've been talking a lot about entrepreneurs here, but we got to speak to some of them over at Eureka Park. And what is Eureka Park? Check this out.
I'm Tim Murphy, CEO and founder of Airdrop Gaming, and we are launching a brand new product called Audio Radar. And Audio Radar enables deaf and hard of hearing gamers to see sound in video games. This is a game of PUBG, and you see we have light bars on the bottom here. So that's Audio Radar includes a command center and these light bars. Those light bars are indicating some type of sound in the game.
So my name is Sarah Oud. I'm the CEO of Milebox. We are an e-cargo bike company. We're here at Eureka Park. This is our first time, and we are from Montreal, Canada. So the product that we have developed is an e-cargo bike that's really designed for fleet operators. So it's only B2B. It's really conceived for people that are delivering goods in urban, dense areas.
My name is Johnson Sainville, also known as Mr. Domino himself. I am the inventor and co-founder of Domino. All your cell phones have a cell phone case, right? So as you can see here, your cell phone case has a camera on it. Hold this right here. I can actually remove the camera off my cell phone case, place it in your person, and now everything I see, you can see right there on the camera.
My name is Amos Miller, and I'm the founder of Glidance. And through my experience, we evolved and developed a new kind of mobility aid. It's called Glide, and it really uses autonomous guiding technology to physically guide the person, show them the route, take them, avoid obstacles, and keep them safe.
We were really happy to be selected to be here.
Eureka Park has actually been a great asset to us.
People are able to see the product, test it out, and see why it's been created, and also see where it's available. So if they're interested in having it, they have access to it.
We have been meeting already so many clients. While we're here, we can showcase our product and meet all of those people.
We received an award for their accessibility technology, and that's what enabled us to be here today, and we're very grateful to them, because that kind of support means a great deal to a startup.
The partnerships, the people we've spoken to, a lot of love out here at Eureka Park.
You know, over the years, I've been at Eureka Park, and I'm gonna tell you, if you felt emotional watching that video, like, I've talked to people who saved up all their money, they come to their park, this is their dream, and it's fantastic to be able to see them make it happen. I do feel like there's a real emotional connection and spirit that happens at Eureka Park that I don't know if you can really find that. It's like you said, you know, when we say American dream,
Yeah.
it is true. That exists in Eureka Park, and it is, you can feel it there.
Yes.
Like all these little seedlings,
Yep.
just ready to grow.
And you can feel it in Shark Tank too.
Yeah,
Because when
yeah,
we're backstage, you can hear a pin drop. And when someone really becomes vulnerable and opens up their story, that's kind of when the magic happens.
That is amazing. Thank you so much for hanging out with us, Mindy.
Thanks for having
All right.
me.
I mean, I know I've got to come up with something to pitch. I got the fundamentals, so.
You know who to find.
All right. Thank you so much. And hey, for all those of you that want to learn more about this, all you got to do is go to abc.com/Shark Tank.
Now, as a member of the tech community, I know how important an event like CES is, and not just for the tech, but the connections. Let's connect with two people whose work enables us to get the most out of this event. Please welcome CTA's Senior VP and CES Membership, Kinsley Fabrizio, and CTA VP and Show Director, John T. Kelly. Thank you guys so much for joining us.
Thank you for
This
having
is so
us.
amazing.
So excited to be here.
I mean, it's such a huge event, and I guess, Kinsley, let's talk about this programming, because programming a huge event like this, like, how do you even go about that?
Well, we want to make sure that we cover the entire ecosystem of the tech industry that's here. So we want to make sure we have topics on automotive and mobility and health and food tech and smart home and all of the big categories you see on the show floor. And we want to make sure that we have diverse opinions and thought leaders on that stage. So we work really hard to bring C-level executives that are going to share what their companies are doing that's really special in the tech industry.
It's amazing because it's such a global event. I mean, there's so many brands here. And one of the things that I love is watching all of the keynotes. So I guess for you, what have been some of the highlights of the keynote presentations that you've seen?
Well, we had a really dynamic lineup of keynoters. I mean, and they covered a different range of industries. So we kicked off with Siemens opening night. And then the first day of the show, opening morning, was the L'Oreal keynote. And for me, just watching the work that they're doing for people in the accessibility space, I thought was really amazing and really inspiring. I don't know, Kinsley, what did you like?
I agree. Well, Siemens had a wonderful accessibility story too. Having HD Hyundai, a infrastructure, shipbuilder, construction tech company on the show, or, you know, keynoting at CES, that's something that you wouldn't typically expect. And then we also had some really fun fireside chat keynotes. So Intel, Qualcomm, NASDAQ, Elevance Health, and, you know, one of the most exciting is Walmart.
Exactly,
and they brought Microsoft out to talk about their partnership.
Very cool.
And partnerships was a big theme of all the keynotes.
Very
So
cool.
that was really exciting to see.
Yeah, I feel like that is the thing here of CES. It is about all of those connections.
Yes.
So what is it like for you owning and producing CES?
It's fun. It is the
It's
best job in the
exciting.
world.
It's exciting. You know, we work all year for these 4 days, and it's just exciting to see all the hard work, the team's hard work. We have a great team, you know, back in our office. All of them are here on site. We have a great network of partners. To see all that work just come, you know, to see all that hard work manifest itself live here at CES, and also just to see the, you know, the joy that people get from experiencing CES. And the connections that are made, the partnerships that are formed, it's just really inspiring.
Absolutely. And the teams from our exhibitors, to see their hard work too. They are investing so much time and effort to build these beautiful booths, to tell the story, launch products, and it really all comes together, and it's just phenomenal to see on site.
I mean, this was my childhood dream to come here, and now I'm kind of here hosting it with the people that made it. Thank you. From all of us at home, it's amazing.
Oh, thank you.
It's really crazy. And the fact that, this event is almost over. Now, for all of the attendees, what should they keep their eye on out for at the event while they're still here and then after it's over?
Well, there's a lot to see at CES. There's a lot to cover in 4 days. So a few key areas, if you haven't been over to the Venetian per se, check out Eureka Park at the Venetian. We have over 1,400 startups at the Venetian. If you haven't been over to the Convention Center, check out West Hall, automobile, transportation, mobility store over there, digital health in North Hall, and some huge brands in Central Hall. So those would be, I guess, some tips and pointers for people, depending on where you've been, I guess, the last couple of days.
Yeah, and I would just say also check out the outside space.
Right.
So outside of the convention center, there's an amazing company, Supernal. They're showing their flying car. Google's out there, Walmart's out there, so many big brands outside space. It's a little chilly, but bundle up, get out there because it is worth it.
And this is the 100th year, which is a huge celebration. So for you guys to kind of see this all come together, I mean, what has that been like?
The evolution of technology in our organization over the last 100 years and how that has transformed our show, CES, is crazy. I never thought we would see L'Oreal at CES keynoting. I never thought some of the companies we see on the show floor, I never thought in my wildest dreams they would be here. And they are, and it's just special to see.
Even the time, Kinsey and I have both been at CTA for 16 years. This is both of our 16th show. So just the time that we've been here, it's incredible. It's incredible. I mean, the automobile is a perfect example. Like, I think our first year we had 1 or 2 automobile companies at CES. Now we have over 250.
We're the largest auto show in the world.
It's fascinating just to see that evolution that Kinsey indicated. I mean, it's really cool, and it's nowhere else you see it play out like CES.
That's right.
Well, hopefully, with all of this health tech here, we will be sitting here in the next 100 years
exactly.
and we'll be doing the same interview again.
That's right.
And look the same.
Exactly. Well, congratulations. Thank you so
you.
much. And the show was amazing, and I
Thank
can't
you
wait
for
for next
being
year.
here. Same. Neither can I.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Social media analytics are indispensable tools for brands and content creators everywhere, and one company has made it their mission to make those billions of pieces of data accessible, insightful, and actionable. They spoke with Brian Komisky to show how their data-driven audience insights can be a game changer. Check this out.
I'm joined here by Patrick Charlton, co-founder of Buzz Radar and CTA partner at the CES Discovery Wall. Patrick, what do we got going on here?
So what we're doing here is pulling every single mention of CES from across online, the internet. So we're looking at TikTok, Twitter, all the different social networks, and we're pulling in all that data and analyzing it. So here we can look at who the most talked about startups are, who the most talked about exhibitors are. So you can see that Samsung is taking up 27% of all the brand conversation. What the most talked about industries are. So artificial intelligence, a huge topic at the moment. Vehicle, tech, and mobility taking up almost 20% of all the sort of conversations. What are the most talked about trends and hashtags? So again, AI is super high up there this year. Health tech is in there, gov tech. And then who are the key influencers that are driving that conversation?
How does this really help take this marketing data and make it insightful and accurate?
What we've done is really take all of this data and work with the exhibitors so they can really understand what the audiences care about. So we know that they care about AI, so that's why there's a lot of AI products here, and how people integrate that, how they talk to people on social media. Do they use TikTok? Do they use Instagram? Do they use X? How do they use it? Is it with video? Do they talk to the camera? Do they just show the product? All of these things really help inform how people tell the story about their products.
Sometimes I found when you're talking about data, it's a little bit, in the weeds. It's hard to talk about. So how do you bring it back to the average exhibitor?
Well, so you talk about AI, right?
Yep.
This is where AI sucks, right? Is how to make things really simple and tell a very simple story to senior leaders who have lots of things going on, lots of different priorities. So really what we have is a team of human analysts and social intelligence experts who understand social media and how to tell stories to audiences. And what they do is they condense things down, they curate, they tell stories that are much, much more interactive and interesting for senior leaders so they can make very clear, easy decisions.
And I like that because you're getting to something that we've been talking about a lot on the Anchor Desk stage, which is, there's a lot of concerns sometimes around AI displacing jobs, but what you're talking about here is it's almost like a cobot in a way. It's helping improve the accuracy and efficiency of what your human analysts are doing, and this is just a tremendous tool to leverage that.
Absolutely. So one of the key things we've been doing over the last 12 months is building an assistant for our team. We've created Brian, this AI robot, and what he's doing is helping leverage and do a lot of the sort of donkey work. So our team of analysts can really spend more time with the clients, telling stories and making things simple and answering the really difficult, complicated stuff.
There's quite a bit of visualization going on. And why is visualized data and understanding it so important?
A lot of what we do here is we're showing thousands and thousands of posts, but what we can do is highlight the sort of most interesting things in real time, and it really gives them a sense of like what's happening, the fact it's real, and it helps them believe what they're saying. You can tell someone something, but if you can show them it, they're much more likely to believe it and buy into it.
Well, Patrick, thank you so much, and
pleasure
for showcasing Buzz Radar and the amazing technology you have here, and thank you all for joining us.
With 57 manufacturing facilities in 23 countries, Goodyear is one of the world's largest tire companies. It's also one of the most innovative when it comes to developing state-of-the-art technology that improves safety and reliability when driving. Joining me now is Goodyear CEO Rich Kramer to talk about the technology-driven solutions for mobility. Welcome.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
So we were talking, and this is technically, your first year at CES having a booth.
It is. First year having a booth. We've been participants in the past, but first year with a big presence as a booth. And I know it's just early, but so far it's going great.
I mean, this is, we're here. There's so much energy. You never know what you're going to get when you come here. So for you guys having a booth here, what does that mean, and what kind of things are you announcing?
Well, so for being here, I would actually put it in two buckets. I think one, internally, it's a big deal for our associates because we're a 125-year-old company, as you and I were talking about. So coming to something like CES with all the innovation around it sends the right message to our associates and our customers, frankly, that we're on our front foot and we're looking to where technology is taking our industry. So that's really important for our associates and our customers. But then secondly, we're here with a lot of our partners and doing a lot of learning about what's happening. So all those two things are really exciting. And then in terms of announcements, we actually have 5 different announcements here.
Oh, wow, okay.
One about a product and the others about partnerships that we've done. So really exciting stuff.
And so Sightline, that was one of the main headlines that I was reading about. So can you tell me about that?
Sure. So Sightline is really our, call it intelligent tire technology. If we sort of zoom out for a moment, what you're seeing at CES and what we're seeing happening in mobility is really moving the vehicle from a hardware-centric vehicle to sort of software-based, right? Software-centric, where you have sort of electric devices on wheels where functionality and features are really essentially enabled by software. So if you think about what's happening with the car, we're doing the same thing with the tire. So sort of a software-defined tire. And we're doing that by bringing data out of the tire and then incorporating that into the vehicle driving systems.
And normally when I think about tire data, which I'm really bad at putting air in my tires, that's the first thing that I think of. So is that the kind of information that you're talking about, or something a little bit more in depth?
So it's actually the starting point, but if you take a step back, what we're doing is we look at the tire characteristics and the road characteristics. And tire characteristics are really about our tire modeling data and sensor data and our historic tire performance data. And then we look at road characteristics, which we take off a sensor that's on the tire itself. We then sort of put those two things together, and then we add our sort of proprietary algorithms to that. And from that, we can measure temperature and pressure, which is what you're talking about, then add to that wear and load. And then with those things, we can actually measure friction. So what's happening on the road between the tire and the road surface, wet, dry, ice, whatever it might be, and then share that information with the vehicle driving systems to then have those vehicle driving systems react in a more real-time, proactive way to what's happening on the road, such that the vehicle's performance is enhanced and it's much safer for the driver.
So more, not just telling me I need air in my tires.
Exactly. You still need air in your tires,
for sure.
But that's sort of the data that we're getting out.
So I guess I'm picturing it as if I'm I don't know, I'm in California and I'm driving up to Mammoth and I want to go snowboarding, and there happens to be, the roads start getting cold and there's snow. Is that able to automatically like kind of potentially switch me into snow mode or something?
So exactly. If you think about that, in a normal vehicle, when you're driving around a corner and it's a little bit wet or icy, you grab the wheel a little harder, get off the gas, get on the brake a little bit, and that's if you sort of sense it early enough.
Yeah.
What now is happening, whether it's a fully autonomous vehicle, which we're working with companies like Gatik, which is a fully autonomous middle mile truck company, but even with vehicles of increasing autonomy, now what happens is we can sense through the algorithms and the data we have, hey, the road is a little slippery, your car has an underinflated tire, it's a tire that's halfway worn, it's heavy because maybe you have some luggage or your skis on top of it, and you're hitting a wet road. It senses that and then sends that data back, and then it actually says for the vehicle to slow down or to do things faster than what you might do as an individual. So
that's really cool.
It does what you do, only in a more automated way. Once we gather more and more data off the vehicles, off our tires, once we understand those interactions better, I think that's really going to sort of jettison us more into the learnings that we can do and even do more proactive work by machine learning and by artificial intelligence to improve the efficiencies even more.
So is this mostly something you have in consumer vehicles, or is this more like fleet, like more businesses?
So we're doing it in both. So we're starting with certain consumer vehicles as well. But I would say that the real value proposition goes to commercial vehicles. So for instance, I mentioned Gatik is one of our partners. So Gatik does middle mile, warehouse to warehouse, autonomous trucks that will go all hours of the day.
Wow.
So what we can do with them is give them that data, as I mentioned, on what's happening at the road. We can also give them data around their tires, around predictive maintenance. So what we do for their business model is not only do we increase their uptime by understanding what's happening on the road and reducing breakdowns, we can give them predictive data to do predictive maintenance so the vehicles don't break down, and that lowers their cost per mile. So it makes their business more efficient. As we say, we try to help our customers do what they do better, and this technology helps them do what they do better, which is why they'll see the economics of that, and that's why the technology probably will resonate with commercial vehicles earlier before it does with consumers.
Which is usually what happens, especially here at CES. It kind of goes into the businesses and then trickles down to the consumers after it's perfected and the price point is there. So we're talking a lot about electric vehicles, and I feel like this is a perfect time for you guys to be here because it is the rise of the EV, and there's so much here at CES. So you were talking about, it was the electric drive 2 tires.
Exactly.
And that is something that is specific to EVs?
It is.
Okay, so how is that different than just a normal tire?
So it's really interesting. So when you think about an EV tire, there's about 4 different things that are a little bit different. The first is the tire has to carry more load, because an EV car typically is heavier because of the battery packs. So it's typically heavier than an ICE tire, so the tire has to carry more load. Secondly, and particularly on the EcoDrive 2, we've put more durability into the tire. It's about a 60,000 mile tire because the torque out of electric motors on axles goes right to the tire and makes them wear out faster. We kind of like that, I won't lie, but consumers like to have higher mileage tires, so we have a bit more durability to it. And then the third thing is rolling resistance, because everyone's concerned about range anxiety on an EV. So the more rolling resistance or the less friction between the tire and the road means that a charge will last longer. So we have higher rolling resistance factors on these vehicles. And then lastly, noise. Because if you think about an EV, you don't hear any engine noise. So any tire wear or uneven wear, whatever it might be, could make the vehicle a bit louder. So we actually put foam in the tire to dampen the noise to make the ride quieter. So those 4 things really create a tire that's different than a typical tire that we'd make for, let's say, an ICE engine.
Yeah, it's things you wouldn't even think about. I mean, you guys have been in this business for so long. I mean, did you ever think that the switch over would happen as quickly as it did?
I think it's probably happened quicker. We thought it would take root quicker over the long term. I think it happened fast, but the adoption may take a little bit longer. But there's absolutely no doubt that EVs are going to have a significant spot in the mobility ecosystem and clearly in our portfolio. And I tell you, for us, this is a way to distinguish ourselves from a lot of the other tire companies out there, because we can solve a lot of these problems for the original equipment manufacturers. So they're coming to us to solve their most difficult problems. and these are actually higher margin tires for us to sell as well. So it's a win all around.
Look, I'm excited to be able to do a software update for my tires.
Exactly.
I think it's amazing. So I guess looking into the next like 3 to 5 years, how are you guys kind of positioning yourself to tackle all of these new issues that are coming up?
You know, I would say we're on the front end of, call it a software developed tire, software designed tire to support a software designed vehicle. So I would say the next 5 years are really, we expect to see significant improvements in technology and data gathering. And then, as you said earlier, learning from that to iterate and get better and better at this. So I really think we're on the front end. And I think over the long term, what we see is an opportunity to sort of create a moat versus many other tire companies, not all, because there's some great companies out there for sure, but to really distinguish ourselves to say what solutions we can bring and really make us an integral part of those vehicles and their operating systems, rather than simply a part that you bolt on, a passive part that you bolt on. So think of rather than a passive part to an active part of the mobility ecosystem of those vehicles.
For sure, and I think even, you're talking about the data collection. I mean, that is so important. And even being able to pair that with like the dash cams and getting all of those different algorithms and really then being able to use AI to improve all of the driving experiences for everyone.
No, exactly. And I would say, as you said, over the next 5 years, I think data collection and then what to do with that data, I think is really one of the next horizons that we're all going to figure out together as the mobility ecosystem develops.
You mentioned you had some partnerships. Did you want to talk about any of those?
So really with our Sightline technology, we have partnerships with ZF, where we're going to be integrated in their Cubics module, which is essentially their software-based driving systems, where we can integrate sort of our tire sensory data and algorithms in with their motion controls. And what we've done with them is specifically work on aquaplaning, where we can sense when a vehicle's in an aquaplaning mode. We can then share that information with the Cubics motion control systems, where they'll automatically adjust braking, steering, and suspension to take control and stabilize that vehicle. So it's not just an idea or a concept, we're actually putting this in the market to go work. So that's one of them. We have another one with Gatik that I mentioned, where we're really integrating our data in the vehicle our data from tires into the vehicle driving systems. We have another one with TNO that's actually integrating our Sightline technology in ABS systems, where we've demonstrated we can stop as much as almost 6 feet faster or 6 feet sooner than without our technology. And we have the electric drive tire. And then finally, we have an announcement with TDK, where we're really working on sort of the next generation of tire, software designed tire, if we will, where we're bringing our tire development knowledge, our tire intelligence knowledge, and our ability to integrate hardware, software, tire intelligence, and vehicle systems. They're bringing sensors, software, and their electric component expertise, where we can work better together, so we're getting as much data for as long as we can on the road. So that's actually pretty exciting as well.
That's awesome. And I guess one last thing, the Blimp is actually here at Vegas. I mean, can you talk about that whole process? Like, do you guys have one here? Did you have to drive it? Did you ship it? Did you fly it? How did it get here?
So I'll say first, it's a big event when the Blimp is there. So CES is a big event because the Blimp's here. We actually have 3. We actually have 4, but 3 in the United States. One in South Florida in Pompano Beach, one in Akron, as you would expect, where our headquarters are, and the third one is in Los Angeles, as you and I were speaking.
I drive by it all the time.
So we have to get you a ride now.
Yes,
so you have to get up on the Blimp. So we'll organize that for you. But that came over from California. But these new generation of Blimps actually can move fairly quickly, so we move them around the country to cover big events, sporting events, and other things.
That's so cool. And it is here at CES, and hopefully soon you guys will be seeing me going for a ride in one. Well, the next time you get a 5th one, let me know if you want me to do an unboxing of it, because I think that would be absolutely epic.
It sounds good. We love it.
Well, I am so excited. I cannot wait until these tires are on my car, and I remember when at CES you launched it your first year. So this is amazing. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Innovations in healthcare technology have the power to change lives. And here to tell us how Zenko Medical is doing that, please welcome CEO Jason Hyder. Excited for you to join us at CES for the very first time.
Thank you, Brian. We're very excited to be here. It's thrilling.
Well, we always love when people come to CES and showcase their innovation, especially first-time exhibitors. It's truly, I think, one of the most unique places to be in terms of being at CES. So let's dive in a little bit more about you and Zenko. So first off, can you tell us a little bit more about Zenko Medical and where does it fit in the medical tech industry?
Absolutely. So we're a relentlessly patient-centric company. We've prided ourselves on pushing the boundaries in innovation year after year. We started with our composite polymer surgical instrument system, so entirely disposable, gamma sterilized, moved on to biomimetic titanium foam implants, then surgical vending machines, a surgical simulation platform. All of those have been bound by 3 pillars: lowering healthcare costs, making surgery safer, and making surgery more accessible. But we've actually added a 4th pillar, and that's addressing the entire longitudinal recovery of a patient, which is why we've come to CES this year.
So you really are looking at the sort of systemic profile of a patient. You're not keeping them sort of in the silo of one condition.
We don't want to treat an instance of care, and we don't want to treat patients as if they're a pathology. We want them to be a partner of ours, and we want to be there until they're back to full mobilization. And that's something new in the spinal implant space.
And that's really incredible. And this ties into an overall trend that we're seeing at CES, but at the same time, at CES, we love a good disruptor, right? And so Zenko Medical has certainly been called that in the past. Can you explain what some of your innovations that are making headlines are like today?
What we've done now is we've looked at interdisciplinary technologies. So some of our technologies that have made headlines before have been taking different, seemingly disparate fields, bringing them together in a recombinant way and creating something truly innovative. But what we're going to be unveiling this week at CES is taking something from the regenerative medicine space, something from digital health, and creating the trabeculex continuum. And I think that's going to be our path moving forward.
And so with that in mind, I hear you may have brought a sample of what some of what you're going to unveil this week is. Can you walk me through what that is?
What I have here is our trabeculex bioactive matrix. So this looks pretty straightforward, but I like to say there's a microscopic symphony happening inside of this.
I like that.
This is an alternative to human bone. And when placed inside of the spine, it actually regenerates more bone. So what is included in this is something called bioactive glass, as well as beta tricalcium phosphate. That eliminates the need for allograft, which is from a tissue bank. It also eliminates the need to harvest from a patient's own iliac crest, which is autograft. But the continuum incorporates this as well as the trabeculex recovery app. So after a surgeon places this in the spine, they can actually get their patients on prescribed physical therapy exercises and monitor them, which is called remote therapeutic monitoring, and also engage in asynchronous video and text calls so that you are not abandoning your patient after implantation, and you can actually be a partner of theirs all the way until they're back to full recovery.
It really is that full cycle. And what I think is very fascinating about this technology is when you think about how technology builds upon others, you're starting at the base building block with these new materials that can help push forward this medical breakthrough. And so I have to ask, because I'm fascinated, I know our viewers are going to be fascinated, is it going to be on display at the show?
So we're going to be at the Digital Health Summit. We'll be giving demos of this as well as the trabeculex recovery app and really explaining what our mission is moving forward and how we really want to change the way surgeons engage with their patients and become lifelong partners of theirs.
I think that's incredible. And so you mentioned an app, so I want to make sure I stay on that for a moment. Why have you put such an emphasis on utilizing a mobile app for treatment?
Well, this was really born in the wake of the COVID-19 pandemic. That took 10 years of acceleration and placed it into 2, as you know. Telehealth was booming, asynchronous care was booming, and we thought that we need to rise to the occasion. There was a lot going on in healthcare, but we were wondering about a way to bridge the gap from science to empathy. And that's why we thought the mobile app would be our way of doing that. Because we've prided ourselves in taking scientific techniques and creating best-in-class implants, but we weren't really treating patients as individuals. We were treating them as pathologies, and we were very excited when some kind of cervical, thoracic, or lumbar disorder was treated, but we didn't really know what was happening afterwards. The mobile app is the best way to do that. because it enables them to have an outlet to share their progress, but it also allows us to be connected to our patients rather than just surgeons and health systems.
That's absolutely incredible. And what you've really described in a lot of ways is there's a principle that says in times of disruption, innovation bunches up and accelerates. So that's clearly what was occurring here in the last 2 years. A simpler way to say that is probably that necessity is the mother of invention. And so you talked about the mobile app, but can you tell me more about what inspired all of this work at the beginning?
In the very beginning, we were inspired by the Affordable Care Act, which was another accelerator.
Yeah.
It really emphasized value-based care. It emphasized lowering healthcare costs, and that's what really inspired us to bring a new portfolio of surgical implant systems that did all of that. It also helped hospitals report better scores because we were so laser focused on lowering infection risks. But as we've evolved as a company, we've wanted to broaden the scope of our technologies, and so that's why we're also addressing the continuum of care now.
And that makes sense. And one of the big trends that we're seeing on the show floor in digital health in general is what we would say as 3 words are personalized, accessible, and intelligent. And you're really, I think, capturing all 3 of them with your product here. So I have to ask though, what was the development process like for this new biomaterial?
If we, when you create a new biomaterial, there are 2 key considerations you have to contend with. One is safety, the other is efficacy. Safety is pretty straightforward because you have regulatory authorities, the scientific community that codify what you need to meet in the form of standards. But efficacy is a lot more interesting because it's dependent on the ambitions of the enterprise and how many years they're willing to invest, what kind of resources they're willing to invest to create a best-in-class biomaterial. So when we set out to develop this, we wanted to start at the sub-micron scale, not just a formula.
Yeah.
So the beta tricalcium phosphate that's embedded in this has a very unique surface topography, which allows osteoblasts, which are the bone-forming cells, to attach to it. The bioactive glass that we use actually creates something called an HCA layer. When there's nucleation of that, it releases silicon and calcium, which mineralizes new bone as well. So it comes back to what I was saying about this symphony that was happening at the microscopic scale.
Yeah.
But that takes a very, a big breath from the submicron scale all the way to the lattice. And we were willing to invest as many years as was necessary and as much resources as was necessary as well.
That's absolutely incredible. And I like that this start at the microscopic level. And you're part of, I think, a larger trend where you're doing it with the biomaterials level. We've seen even the ability to sequence proteins from even artificial intelligence now at the atomic level. So clearly it's focusing on these building blocks of innovation. So as a follow-up then, you've done a tremendous amount of work around this new biomaterial and your other innovations here. What would you say are the goals for Zenko Medical for your future impact in healthcare?
I guess if there were 2 words that would describe our future impact, it's breadth and depth. And I think that adding this 4th pillar about longitudinal recovery is going to not only inform what we do moving forward, but it's going to transform what other companies in the spine space do. We can't be complacent with treating one instance of care. We need to look at the entire spectrum of a patient's journey, and that's something that I think we've challenged ourselves to do, and I think that's going to transform the spine industry as well.
I'm just blown away by all the innovation you're talking about here. But it comes down to, if we were to boil down everything that we've been talking about today, it seems that Zenko Medical is really focused on improving the quality of life for patients. So how does being here at CES, at this one of the world's largest technology trade shows, how does that help keep that mission at the forefront?
CES is incredible for us and incredible for the healthcare space because it personifies the consumer. In the healthcare industry, we think of the consumer as a health system, a group of surgeons, but it's really important to put a face to the implantee, and I think that's what CES does. So for us, it reminds us that there are actual individuals who are being treated with our technologies, even though they're not the ones who are necessarily paying for this. And I think that every surgical device company would be better suited to come here and really get a sense for who the consumer is and challenge themselves. And One thing that we incorporate into our research and development is what we call a recombinant way of thinking. And what we do is we look at a broad swath of different companies and see if there are, so to speak, genes of interest, novel ideas that are still resonant with what we do. So if you come to a place like CES and you see everything from TV innovations to electric cars, and if you can find a gene of interest that's still resonant with your core mission, you can incorporate that into your corporate DNA and become a recombinant, more resilient version of yourself. So I think it reminds us of who the consumer is, but it also allows you to become a recombinant, more resilient version of yourself.
Exactly, and I think what we talk about a lot is that innovation has never really occurred in a silo on its own. Breakthroughs in one technology always have to influence the advance of another, right? But I really loved what you said about putting a face to the consumers in the healthcare patient system and beyond. But what I really like about CES is that we're actually giving a face to the innovators that are pushing forward the space, like you. So I really want to thank you for being on and talking with us today.
Thank you, Brian.
Of course, thank you, Jason.
It's a pleasure.
This year, we're announcing a new 8th pillar of the Human Security for All campaign. The campaign serves to cultivate collaboration and innovation across all industries and all countries to improve the human experience. Now, you'll see more from the Human Security for All initiative and this first-of-its-kind partnership throughout the event as the show highlights the latest tech innovations promoting the 8 human security pillars: food security, access to healthcare, economic security, environmental protection, personal safety and mobility, community security, political freedom, and now technology. That's right, technology is that new 8th pillar, and as many of you know, it enables positive change that can reach all humanity, and that is why we are here. So here's some highlights from our campaign.
CES is especially important as a platform that introduces technology to transform the world. I mean, really solving human problems.
Tech innovations can protect human securities, or as we actually call them, human rights. Clean air and clean water. Food, the right not to be hungry. Healthcare, community engagement, political involvement. These are things which the United Nations and others have identified as saying these are basic human securities or rights. Technology can play a difference in making that happen.
CES have been absolutely wonderful. They're reflecting their values and their belief that the future is about human security for all. And I think it's something that no other trade body in the world has probably ever done. CES has had the vision to kick off the revolution here that says technology will solve the human security needs of the world.
Today's my last day of the show, so I want to take you across the floor and really get to the places that I really want to see, like Withings, which is a leader in at-home healthcare and other scanning materials for the digital health solution. In fact, on board, I have their BMO AI, which helps with some of that home solution monitoring. In fact, as we move into, you can see how it works to really track what's going on with your lungs through blood oxygen monitoring, as well as other rates like your heart rate and other form factors to ensure that you're sending to your doctors exactly what your health profile looks like from afar. And it's not just digital health that you find in North Hall. In North Hall, you can find so many innovations around sustainability. Take Jackery and their Ford Raptors with rooftop solar generator. So really, it's talking with those who love nature, that get to experience it at their campsites, can actually give back to nature through sustainable solutions. And that's really what's powering Jackery to do advancements in solar power as well as wind power. And not shockingly, it has won Time Best Innovation Awards for some of their products as we work our way to what is one of my favorite innovations, which is the Solar Mars Bot. This is a robot that can go across your campsite independently as well as your home, and it can power it sustainably through solar energy, as well as if your power goes out at your normal home, that's your emergency backup generator. So really pushing forward sustainable innovation for nature lovers everywhere, and for people at home who just want sustainable solutions. Sometimes I feel the need for speed, but I want to make sure I'm doing it sustainably. And there's no better way to do it than with Estonia's Verge motorcycles and their TS Ultra, which has cutting-edge sensors on board from their Star Matter Vision, which has cameras for safety, lane assistance, as well as graphics powered by the Unreal Engine. But what's most novel about this motorcycle is the fact that the powertrain is on board the back wheel of the bike here, which I've wanted a motorcycle for years. My wife won't let me get one. Hopefully, because this is an electric motorcycle, I can convince her that I'm doing my part in sustainability.
All right, a big thank you to Brian Komisky for joining us as co-hostess with the Moses, as well as giving really what his futurist insights throughout the show were. Futurist is such a big word.
It is.
It is. And hey, just like that, our CES experience is coming to an end.
I'm so sad.
I am too, oh my
but
gosh.
Don't worry, because you guys can relive all of the great conversations and presentations over at CES.tech.
Trust me, we haven't even seen what each other has done because we've been all over the floor. So we're gonna check that. We're gonna check that out for sure.
I can't wait to watch it.
And also a huge big thank you to CTA for all of their support, as well as our amazing crew out here. Look, I just call them out like Randy, Dan, Vlad, Red, John, Kat. Oh, okay, list goes on, Kate, you know, and all the people in the back. Thank you so much, and really helping us capture this entire CES experience.
It's such a huge list of people. I mean, we're going to have the credits are going to be rolling for
that was
hours.
like 1/10, and everyone, our friends at Phelps and Almighty and Phelps, yeah.
They're going to be so mad at you that they didn't get a shout out. You're in trouble now.
If you really want me to name every single person, I will. I literally have every name.
We're going to be here until next year.
I have it. Are we going to back chance to?
All right.
But this is our application.
Are we putting in our resume for next year?
Yeah, let's
okay,
put it in. You guys take a look at it. We've hosted CES 2024, so we feel like we're pretty qualified for 2025, right?
Check.
Check it off? Okay,
I'll be here.
Okay.
So until next time, this is the CES wrap-up. Thank you for joining
us. We'll see you guys next year. Later.
Woo! Come on. Can we get a little clap in here?
Yeah. I'm clapping for you.
We can put some sound effects in there to make it, broad audience.
They're all cricket sound effects. They're like,